Long Island, am I right? Beaches, babes, and serial killers? Yeah, you heard that right. This ain't your summer vacation paradise anymore. We're talking about the Long Island serial killer, a real-life boogeyman preying on women, leaving a trail of bodies scattered like forgotten beach towels. These weren't your typical uptown girls. They were working girls, hustling on Craigslist, trying to make ends meet. Shannon Gilbert, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amberlynn Costello. These names deserve to be remembered, not just become another case file. They disappeared one by one, vanished like smoke from a bonfire. Cops initially thought, hey, probably just ran off, but something stunk worse than a dead horseshoe crab on the beach. This wasn't a runaway situation. This was the work of a predator, someone who knew how to make women disappear. And as the bodies started turning up, we knew we had a serious problem on our hands. Picture this. December 2010, a desolate stretch of Gilgo Beach. A cop and his canine partner are on a training exercise, sniffing for drugs or maybe a runaway bagel. Instead, they stumble upon a nightmare wrapped in burlap. It was Melissa Barthelemy, missing for over a year. Panic sets in. The cops start combing the area like they dropped their car keys. And guess what? They found more bodies. 4 women, all wrapped in burlap, like someone was preparing them for a picnic in hell. The media went wild. The Long Island serial killer, they called him. Suddenly, everyone's an armchair detective, speculating about the killer's MO, his profile, his favorite pizza toppings. But amidst the frenzy, a chilling truth emerged. These women weren't just victims. They were daughters, mothers, sisters. Their families were left grappling with the unimaginable, haunted by questions with no answers. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this timeline is more twisted than a pretzel on a roller coaster. 2010, the Gilgo 4 are found. The media goes into a frenzy and everyone's a suspect. Except, the actual killer. 2011, more remains are discovered. This time, it's a skull, hands, and a torso. Talk about adding insult to fatal injury. 2011, again. They identify Jessica Taylor, a victim whose remains were found back in 2003. Turns out, this killer's been busy. 2011, still going. They find more of Jessica Taylor's remains, plus a toddler and an Asian male. This case is like a bad game of Clue, but with real dead people. 2013 to 2023. Crickets. The investigation goes colder than your ex's heart. The families are left wondering if they'll ever get closure. So, what did these victims have in common besides a tragic end? They were all escorts advertising on Craigslist. Back then, Craigslist was like the Wild West of the internet, where you could find anything from a used couch to, well, The killer, he was tech-savvy, knew how to use the internet to his advantage. He'd contact these women, arrange a meeting, and then, bam, they were gone, vanished like a fart in the wind. This detail sent chills down everyone's spines. It meant the killer was comfortable navigating the online world, blending in with the rest of us. He could be your neighbor, your barista, that creepy dude at the gym who's always staring. The thought that a killer could be lurking online, just a click away, was enough to make anyone swear off the internet forever. Okay, maybe not forever, but at least long enough to update your antivirus software. Section 5. Red herrings and dead ends, the frustrating search for answers. Now let's talk about the investigation, or should I say the lack thereof. It's like trying to find a sober guy at a frat party. Messy, confusing, and ultimately disappointing. The cops chased more red herrings than a pack of hungry dogs. They looked at everyone. The local doctor with a thing for bondage, the shady businessman with a gambling problem, even the guy who ran the local hot dog stand. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the point. Every time they thought they were getting close, the trail would go cold. It was like the killer was playing a twisted game of cat and mouse, leaving behind clues that led nowhere. The lack of progress was frustrating, not just for the cops, but for the victims' families, who were desperate for answers. They were stuck in a perpetual state of limbo, unable to grieve, unable to move on. Section 6. Enter the maniac of Main Street. A possible connection? Just when you thought this case couldn't get any weirder, hold on, because it does. Remember those remains they found in 2011? The skull, the hands, the whole shebang? Well, they linked those to another unsolved case in Atlantic City. 4 women, all found dead within a few blocks of each other, their bodies posed in a similar manner. They called him the Maniac of Main Street. Coincidence? I don't think so. Could the Long Island serial killer be responsible for these murders too? Was he expanding his hunting grounds, spreading his reign of terror beyond Long Island? The possibility was too real to ignore. The cops started comparing notes, looking for any similarities between the cases. But so far, the connection remains a mystery, another frustrating piece in this twisted puzzle. Section 7. The Long Island Serial Killer's Calling Card. A twisted game. Here's where things get really creepy. The killer, he didn't just dump the bodies and disappear. Oh no, he had to add his own twisted flair. Some victims were found with their cell phones, used to make taunting calls to their families. Can you imagine the horror? Picking up the phone and hearing the killer's voice, knowing your loved one is gone. Then there's the whole burlap thing. Why burlap? Was it a way to dehumanize the victims, to treat them like garbage? Or was it something more personal, something that held significance for the killer? These details, as chilling as they are, might hold the key to unlocking this case. They offer a glimpse into the killer's psyche, his motives, his twisted sense of satisfaction. Section 8. Victims' families, a never-ending nightmare. Imagine this. Your daughter, your sister, your mother goes missing. You search, you pray, you cling to hope. Then, the news hits you like a ton of bricks. She's gone. Murdered. The families of the victims. They're living through this nightmare every single day. The pain, the grief, the unanswered questions. It's a heavy burden to carry. They're haunted by the memories of their loved ones, the smiles, the laughter, the dreams that will never be fulfilled. They're left with a void that can never be filled, a wound that may never heal. Their fight for justice is far from over. They attend court hearings, organize rallies, and keep their loved ones' memories alive. They refuse to let the world forget, to let their loved ones become just another statistic. Section 9. The investigation continues. Will justice ever be served? So, where do we stand now? The Long Island serial killer case remains unsolved. The killer is still out there, lurking in the shadows, a constant reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. But here's the thing about justice. It may be slow, it may be frustrating, but it never forgets. The cops, they haven't given up. They're still chasing down leads, analyzing evidence, and hoping for that one break that will crack this case wide open. With advancements in DNA technology and forensic science, there's always hope. Maybe one day, the killer will slip up, leave behind a trace of DNA, a fingerprint, a stray fiber from his lucky burlap sack. Until then, the families wait, the community holds its breath, and the shadow of the Long Island serial killer continues to loom large. Section 10. The Shadow of Fear. Life in the Wake of a Monster. The Long Island serial killer case didn't just claim the lives of innocent women. It cast a long shadow of fear over the entire community. People were afraid to walk alone at night, to answer ads on Craigslist, to even trust their neighbors. The once idyllic image of Long Island was shattered, replaced by a sense of unease and vulnerability. The case served as a stark reminder that evil can lurk anywhere, even in the most seemingly peaceful of places. It forced people to confront the dark underbelly of society, the predators who walk among us, hidden in plain sight. Despite the fear, the case also brought the community together. People rallied around the victims' families, offering support, comfort, and a shared determination to see justice served. The Long Island serial killer may have taken their loved ones, but he couldn't take away their spirit, their resilience, their unwavering belief that one day the truth will come to light.